Episode 136 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Support the show at patreon.com/The Wilderness Podcast. Our supporter of the week is Brian Latwis. We are also brought to you by Audible. Quick disclaimer, my microphone died pretty early on in this episode, so if the audio quality is a little bit lower than usual, that is why. Thank you. Welcome to episode 136 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dills, and with me is Deegan.
Hey, how's it going?
So the topics of this week, some PvP changes, and I don't know if it's an update, but information on the Dead Man mode beta and the tournament that's just around the corner. And after probably a couple months now, but they finally brought out another dev blog talking about the Forhose Dungeon, the dungeon that's going to be located at the in the Sidious house on Zaya. And as for community chatter, well, today marks a very special day in RuneScape history. So we'll talk about the events that took place this week or last week. And lastly, some drama between Jagex and a player moderator. That's about it as far as news goes. Deegan, what'd you do this week?
RuneScape related? Nothing.
Nothing at all.
No.
Not even AFK skills.
No.
Oh boy.
No, yeah. No RuneScape stuff. Real life, nothing really to talk about. Well, actually, no, I got, I guess I got, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago? 99 fishing?
Yeah.
So today I went out with a buddy and got some fishing gear. So I'm going to get RL 99 fishing.
Sick.
Yeah. So I got some fishing gear. A couple weeks from now, we're going to go fishing. That's pretty much it, though. Not much going on this week. It's been really busy.
Yeah, slow week. Well, news-wise, I guess.
Yeah, nothing really to talk about.
True.
What about you?
Well, I ended up getting a second job. I'm talking about real life stuff, but I got a second job working for a, so I have my full-time job right now that's just carrying over for the summer. It's, I'm working at the radio station at my college over the summer. And I also end up getting it's the entry-level part-time position for a, just the big radio station in my city. So that's pretty exciting. It's position is a street team member, which just means you kind of go to the events and you do a bunch of you just do a bunch of random stuff, I guess. But we'll see where that goes. Besides that, the girlfriend moved in this weekend, so that's been pretty busy there. That's it for real life stuff, though. Video game wise, playing some VR. That's still I'm still having a lot of fun with that. Jamming like Rec Room and Beat Saber and all that fun stuff. Having a lot of fun there. And as far as RuneScape goes, I've just been hopping on to do my GE flips and fishing. That's about it. Fishing. That's my life for the next little bit. So fishing on my main and my pure. My main's at, 89 fishing? Probably about 400k away from 90. And then my pure's sitting at, I think it's 67. So we're making some progress there. I want to get to... I'll probably switch over to sharks when I get to 76 fishing, and then get that to 80, then go over do the Inferno eels. I'm just fishing on my pure as a way to give like a method of AFK money making while I play my main. And I just don't want I want something that I can like pay little attention to, as little as possible, and maybe I can make enough money to pay for maybe 2 bonds a month, right? So I can start playing my account in members for free, at least real life money wise, and then same with my pure. But that's pretty much it. I've seen some weird articles for video games. So have you ever heard of this? I don't know if it's a genre of games, but I just kind of was reading about it today. Auto chess.
Well, and I know it's like a mod in Dota.
Yeah. Okay. So it's something that looks like it's getting kind of popular.
Yeah.
It's I saw League of Legends is rolling out a game mode, which is basically this quote unquote auto chess, which just seems kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just chess. You set up your own unique pieces. Once you're done that, you just let them go, and then an AI is playing for you.
I'm not really too sure. I haven't played it myself, but I know there's like types of monsters / like heroes that you pick, and then I don't know, there's a really weird economy system that's like, yeah, I don't really know too much about it.
Bizarre. But if this becomes a new trend, because gaming these days seems to follow these weird trends, do you think old school RuneScape would jump on board with a new minigame?
I don't know how old school could do it.
They always find a way. They did that with the Battle Royale. Yeah. And they were an early adopter of it.
Maybe a little bit too early because it died.
It died, but we got a little bit of a resurgence. So that's she's not completely dead. But I thought it was interesting. I hadn't heard of this auto chess thing, and apparently it's like this new type of genre of these like puzzle games, sort of. Yeah. And apparently it's kind of I don't know, it's catching on a bit. A bunch of other games are starting to bring out game modes. There's other completely standalone games that are doing their own version of auto chess, which is like, I don't know. You saw the same thing with the trading card games. When Hearthstone started getting really popular, Elder Scrolls came out with one eventually, right? Yeah. So it's I don't know, it's just this weird trend. I was surprised to see it because I was like kind of confused. Made me feel really old. You're kind of losing touch with the trends.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where auto chess came from, but I see some streamers kind of like gravitate towards it now. A lot of like actually like the Hearthstone streamers and stuff. Oh. So, yeah, I don't really know too much about it though.
Neither do I. Yeah, but anyways, that's basically all I saw that was going on this week outside of the news of RuneScape. So should we just hop right into it? Yep. Cool. Let's do it.
Yeah, so we're starting off with some PvP changes and some DMM Beta stuff. Kind of speaking on trends. Last Man Standing is a little change.
Oh boy.
So you only need 4 people to make a game.
Compared to what, 25 before?
Yeah, before it used to be 24.
Jesus.
And the competitive high stake games now begin with 24 instead of 48.
Jeez.
Yeah. So maybe Last Man Standing might be a little bit more popular, but...
Well, now that you only need 4 people, that's at least you can get your own little private games going.
Yeah.
I know we were trying to do in the CC, and we had like 8 people show up, and we're like...
Well...
Yeah, it's a nice group, but you're like, we still need like 18 more, or whatever math.
Yeah. So they changed the way like unsculling worked. So players were previously able to unskull at like quick accessible activities and then re-engage with opponents with like no risk. So things like Nightmare Zone and Clan Wars were used, Duel Arena.
Yeah.
They removed the ability to do all that. Teleblock and free-to-play. So, to encourage trying out PvP, free-to-play players now have access to Teleblock.
Ooh, is that controversial? They pulled it, 3 times and it failed?
Yeah.
And now they just throw it right in without a poll.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with this update specifically, but could this be a snowball? Could this get out of control?
No, I mean... It's kind of dumb that it didn't pass.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one update that I never understood why it didn't pass.
Yeah, made me like feel like something was going on behind the scenes. Like there was some community trying to like, I don't know, maybe them Venezuelans.
But it kind of enforced the whole PVM versus PvP, like the separated community there.
Yeah. So inboxes were previously used to quickly bank items before being killed on PvP worlds and in the wilderness. To prevent this method of avoiding risk, inboxes no longer work in PvP. I have like 200 inboxes in the bank I got to drop now. Fun fact.
Hey, when are you going to use this? I guess you could still use it for
chins.
Yeah, black chins, right?
Well, you can't use it for black chins.
You have to be really quickly as soon as you get tagged. Oh, wait, you can't even do it in PvP areas. You just...
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only use it ever had.
That and Arceus Library, but they made it so you can't bank. So inboxes are like useless now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the way she goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll find another use for it. Maybe they'll just phase it out in general.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, and they made a change to the max cape. So if you're killed in the wilderness with the max cape, you'll now drop, I guess, 570k.
Yeah, and it used to be, it looked like 12,000.
Yeah.
So it's a huge jump up. But even the 570,000 GP still only 25% of the max cape's cost, right?
Yep.
2.2 mil.
The Vengeance spell no longer disrupts a player's walk animation unless they're already in a PvP area when they cast it.
Oh.
It's to prevent lures and I guess like rushing, like a weird safe method of rushing, a safer.
But you can still kind of
you can do the animation stall in a PvP zone, but I guess you can't be in a bank, cast Vengeance, and then run out like a PvP world and spec someone.
Okay. Seems fair to me. Seems fair.
Yeah, moving on to the Deadman Spring stuff, the finals rerun. So the rerun will occur on the 14th of June. It's a Friday. Invited players will be able to log on at 17 BST. So it's 5 BST.
5 p.m., yeah.
Yeah. And the permadeath stage will begin 3 hours afterwards at 8.
Nice.
So
hopefully 8, not like 2 a.m., right?
Yeah. PvP will not be enabled until the beginning of the permadeath stage. So you have 3 hours to do what you want, including questing, getting piety.
Okay, interesting.
The fuck?
It's weird.
What's the point of this?
Maybe it's just that every player isn't cookie cutter. You know what I mean? You got some guys who might have a different weapon that's not in the set they give you. Doesn't really make sense to me, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really see the harm in it, I guess. It just seems pointless.
I really want to go off on this, but I don't care enough about Dead Man mode anymore because it's a finals rerun. And they're kind of moving away from Dead Man mode, it seems. But I'm going to go off on it a little bit. What's the point of this? Why are we doing this? Why not just do a final hour?
Maybe it's for some of the streamers because people might love to watch that final day of prepping.
Of 3 hours of doing quests?
Yeah, so it gives some of those streamers an extra 3 hours of like rushing to make their account as good as possible.
From my understanding, if I have to assume everything, it'd be like, you know when they did the quote-unquote restart?
Yeah.
They, gave everyone base 90s that got kicked out and stuff like that?
Something like that.
I feel like it's going to be that, and then 3 hours to kind of go from there. But the 3 hour, it's going to be all up to RNG. You're going to quickly get piety. You already have ancients. And then you're going to go sit in the wilderness and try and get PvP items. As much as I hate Clan Man mode, like, what's the point of like any of this? Why not just give everyone max everything and then just have a final hour?
Well, this does let some people to kind of come up with a strategy, right?
But all the strategies locked behind RNG. You have 3 hours to snipe an item.
Some RNG and some quests, like
Well, the only quest worth doing is piety because you already have ancients. You're already gonna have vengeance, I believe. I could be wrong on that. But it's if they're doing the baseline thing that they did for like their temporary fix, everything like valuable you're already gonna have. So like the only thing I can think of is like niche supplies and piety, and a competent player with the stats that like I'm assuming everyone will have will be able to get piety and stuff in like 30-40 minutes because all the prereqs are done. It's like Shiloh Village and then that's a lie, maybe not all, but the Shiloh Village and like King's Ransom stuff, which you probably get done in like an hour.
Yeah.
But like if there's no PvP element to a PvP based final, like, you know what I mean? It's just do 1 hour, just have the final hour.
But I think they're worried that if they just did the final hour, everyone has the same setup. You're going to be watching an RNG, although it will boil down to more skill. That's one positive way to look at it, right?
This is like clans will have people locking down every PvP monster for Vestas and stuff.
Yeah.
And while the main guys go in to do the quests with everyone else that have to do the quests, and then you just go and fight. Like, are you going to go kill, like, black dragons and hope for a visage?
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not too sure. It's almost, I don't know, I feel like watching it, you might be like, oh, that's why they did it. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Like, I think we'd have to talk to someone in the DMM mode scene because they might say, like, that's the most exciting part is, like, the day before. And unfortunately, we're squishing it down to 3 hours. I have no idea, though, because it does seem a little bit pointless. And, 3 hours isn't that much time to do much.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. It does seem like Deadman. You don't hear as much about it, right? Normally, you'd see something like this would pop up. You'd have a lot more discussion. Seems like there's a lot of people are kind of just, like, tired of it. Like, I still enjoy watching it, but, I mean, I guess I can kind of I don't get as hyped up.
Well, this, I just, like, now I'm like, I'm going to watch it because I kind of have to. But if I didn't have to, you know what I mean? If I was like a casual person, just like, why?
It's easy to ignore it.
Yeah. Seems more detrimental for the advertising purposes. You know what I mean? Anyways, though, it'll be live on twitch.tv/DeeganRS. No, I'm kidding. Old School RS starting at 8 BST. And yeah, all that good stuff. The prize money will be $20,000 first place, $10,000 a second, third and fourth get $1,000, fifth to 16th get 12 months of membership.
Lots of prizes at least.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
So for the permadeath beta, they're gonna have another beta for Friday, 7th of June. And yeah, you'll be able to do a little beta test.
Nice. Hopefully catch any of those bugs.
Mm-hmm. For mobile players, free players tapping on a member skill on the stat interface will no longer randomly stop you from skilling actions. So if you're woodcutting, you accidentally want to see your woodcutting experience and you misclick. Yeah. The mobile app's icon that shows the app to be using the mobile data rather than your Wi-Fi has been changed. The previous picture of a smartphone was unclear, and the new icon will be more consistent with the Wi-Fi indicator.
Okay.
And I guess talk about the Forhose Dungeon.
Right. That very weird dungeon, but it doesn't look bad. It just random. It just seems random, right?
Yeah.
And when we first were talking about this, just looking at it, it seems very Dungeons and Dragons inspired.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for, right?
Yep. So they have an image, kind of shows where I kind of wish they didn't have an image to show you where everything is and how to get to the dungeon.
Yeah.
Kind of ruins the whole fun of it. But
I find that's a problem with these dev blogs and them having to be very, they have to thoroughly explain their updates so that we know what we're voting on. I feel like we lose a lot of the surprise, the excitement, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what was cool about Theater of Blood. And the Inferno and stuff, a lot of it was hidden, the skill required for the bosses. But, we knew what they looked like. We knew the items that were going to, the rewards.
Yeah, it does kind of bother me that we have too much information for something that'd be a really cool dungeon crawl.
Something that would be exciting to stumble upon.
Mm-hmm. I guess if you're a casual player, you're a low level, this kind of seems like it's meant for lower levels. I can't imagine want to do 4 of those runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to stumble upon it and have a cool little adventure.
We're definitely going to get into it, obviously, but it does seem like lower levels, but also Iron Men, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be a useless dungeon. It will get some use.
Yeah. So what is in it? Well, one of the first rooms we'll talk about is the Spider's Den. It's a large den. It's a multi-combat red spider nest. It's got 21 temple spiders, and they're the most powerful red spiders in the game, level 75. It's got an improved loot table, and Konar can assign them.
Can.
Yep.
Nice. Maybe nice, depending on how pain in the ass the dungeon is.
Yep. There's an abundance of red spider egg spawns. So.
Perfect.
Yeah. In the room to the south, you'll find an injured Saradomus monk called Brother Amory?
Sure.
I don't know. Once they're fully healed, we'll give valuable information about the dungeon.
See, that's something they should have kept a secret. I love little Easter eggs like that.
But they didn't. But yeah.
It's okay, we'll forget.
Yeah. The next thing to talk about is the grubby chest. So at the end of a long corridor is a locked gate that can be picked with 57 thieving, and behind that door is a grubby chest requiring a key to unlock it. The keys will be uncommonly dropped by creatures throughout the dungeon, and the chest contains an assortment of supplies averaging 40 to 50 kgp.
Nice.
And they'll help you survive the dungeon. Kind of like a muddy key and the muddy chest and the wildy.
Right.
Yeah,
you
Wilderness Lava Maze.
You ever use that?
I did when I was a low level.
Because the thing is, I know you can buy the keys, right? Yeah, the keys are tradable, and they're worth 3.2k each. It's about 3k, and it seems like the chest gives you an average of 4.5k.
Money making guide.
Yes, there's 1.2k per key. Not worth it. It's pretty damn deep.
Most of it's runes, right?
Yeah, uncut ruby, mithril bar, mithril dagger, anchovy pizza, law runes, death runes, and chaos runes. You get those every time.
Okay.
So it's not even like the crystal chest where it's like you could get rune plate legs, or you could get runite bars, or you can get nothing. Well, besides the dragon. Yeah, spinach.
Yeah.
This one's every time. They should update this one because I like these chests. They're kind of cool. And when I stumbled across this chest, I was like, oh, and like I'm talking about like 2 years ago. I was like, wow, I didn't even realize this thing existed, or I forgot.
Yeah.
I looked it up and I was like, oh, this is cool, but nothing really worth going for. They should update it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so the next thing to talk about is the library. So north of the grubby chest is a library, and this room contains 4 undead druids and various bookshelves that can be searched for 3 tattered tomes. The pages to fill these tomes can be found by killing the creatures in the dungeon, and once filled, these tomes will describe snippets of lore about the ancient religion practiced in the southern kingdom of Varlamore.
Ooh.
Yeah, as well as information about the ruined temple itself. Doing so was part of a mini quest that we'll talk about later on.
Again, I think it would have been a good idea just to not say anything about the tattered pages. Mm-hmm. How cool would it be if you killed something, you got the tattered pages, and now you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? It's like with the, in that ancient caverns where, the mithril dragons are by Barbarian Outpost.
Yep.
There's like the, the scorched paper or something like that? Scorched pages. And there's a bunch of them. You can make a whole book of them. And I have no idea what they're for, but I collect them because I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. Even though I haven't even looked it up, though. Because I kind of wanted to keep it like a secret. I know if I look it up, it's going to be, you make a book that's all about the lore. And I'm like, well, shit, that's pointless.
Yeah.
I don't need to take up like 7 spaces in my my bank inventory just to hold these pages. Just read the wiki.
Yep. So the next thing to talk about is Altar of the Sun. This room contains a mysterious NPC named Albertus, who's found a curious artifact and an altar for charging prayer points.
Cool. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like that. They didn't say too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's stuff to discover there.
Next room is the sacrificial chamber. The small secret room was used by the druids to present their offerings to the gods. Adventurers will have to explore the dungeon and figure out how to access the secret entrance from within the crypt of the moon. Once in there, a lever can be pulled, which will open a previously locked door north of the Scorched Grotto.
Cool.
Yeah. So he should not be named. How do you say that guy's name?
Eoden? Wait, where?
Eoden?
Eoden the Tanner. I don't know.
Is that his name?
No idea.
Eoden the Tanner, I guess. All right. Has set up a small tanning stall in this chamber. While useful, he charges a far higher price than other tanners. However, this cost can be reduced by completing tiers of the Kren and Cable's achievement diary. In the center of the room is a bone burner, which can be used to sacrifice bones 3 times the base experience of burying them.
So it's not quite the Gilded Altar experience, because that's 3.5, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm... Okay, let me look it up real quick. Yeah, so the Gilded Altar gives you 3.5 times experience, so this is just 3 times.
Yep. Players who appease the gods by burning enough bones here will earn the temple key. This can be used to permanently unlock doors in the dungeon to make traversing it much easier. This is designed to give extra value to anyone slaying the nearby red dragons without competing directly with the existent prayer experience raids from the Ectofunctus and the Guild Altar or Chaos Altar.
Cool. That's it's a cool room.
Yeah.
You can just kind of, hole yourself up there for, I don't know, however long till you run out of money, I guess.
Yeah. The Scourge Grotto, which is the room that contains 6 red dragons and 5 baby red dragons. The west entrance leads to the library, while the north lies the shortcut to the northern half of the dungeon, requiring 75 agility to navigate. There's also a corridor to the northwest that leads to the sacrificial chamber, but the door needs to be unlocked from the other side. This location will be added to Konar's list of potential assignments for slaying red dragons.
Nice.
Yep. Undead druids, found within a number of rooms in the dungeon. They're level 105. They're versions of a chaos druid and like other creatures in this dungeon. Konar can assign them. Undead druids will feature a stronger loot than, typical chaos druids, but won't provide as many herbs as aberrant specters.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Chaos druids are a throwback to when I was like a lower level.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it does say Konar can assign this as a Slayer task, but I wouldn't mind getting a Slayer task from other people that was like, Chaos Druids, and then this gives you an alternative, right?
Yep.
So you're not level 100 killing, level 13 monsters. Now you can go kill monsters that are up, like more up your alley, giving you better experience and whatnot.
Yeah. So the mini quest that we kind of just teased about a little bit ago is In Search of Knowledge, the Tattered Tomes. Ooh. A new mini quest called In Search of Knowledge will be introduced in the dungeon, and once you heal the Saradomin priest, tells you what the Tattered Tomes in the dungeon library. You fill them with the 4 pages that are uncommonly dropped. You hand them into the Arceus library, and you get information regarding a hidden burial chamber in the chamber. Now home to Sarkhanus? Sarachnis, yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, Sarachnis is probably it. The mother of temple spiders.
Nice.
So the image they have is a work in progress, but it does...
Looks cool.
Looks pretty like RuneScape 3, but whatever.
Oh, you think so, really?
Yep.
I think it looks like a spider boss. I don't know. It's what I would expect from a spider boss in old school RuneScape.
Sarachnis is a brand new mid-level boss unlocked by handing in all of 3 tomes. She's aimed at players around level 100 combat who want to try their hand at bossing. At this level, players often try Giant Mole, KVD, or Barrows. However, learning these, the learning curve from these boss to high-end PVM challenges such as raids is incredibly steep. So to fill this gap, they offer a chance to learn to deal with various combat mechanics.
Nice.
So,
that's a good idea because we've talked about it before. Where like it's weird that you go from KBD or even the Calphite Queen, where it's a hard boss. It's kind of hard to solo. But there's no mechanics, it's just because it hits so hard. And then you look at Zulrah, which is like the exact opposite.
Yeah. So the only rewards they kind of tell us about is a unique item, a giant egg sac, which can be cut open for a large number of eggs, red spider eggs. So currently these are usually obtained from Nightmare Zone or the Tower of Life, and this new boss offers a more fitting, engaging way of acquiring this resource. The number of eggs a player can obtain per hour will be comparable to the Tower of Life, and it's intended to make up for removing red spider eggs from Nightmare Zone.
Cool. That's good. Yep. That seems like a good change.
For mid players, we expect gold per hour rates to be competitive with Barrows, and high level players can make more scaling with their ability to kill the boss faster. Similar reclaim system to other instance bosses like Vorkath. There's a chest, you die, 50k reclaim fee. Yeah.
Not a huge fan of that trend, but I mean, you got to get punished somehow for dying. That's all they have right now, right?
Yeah.
At least until they change the death mechanics.
Yep. For people on their Slayer task, this will count as both spiders and temple spider tasks.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then they have like all these things that'll be a poll question. Should they add the dungeon? Should they add the bone burning aspect?
Mm-hmm.
And should they add Sarachnis?
Nice and simple. Seems like a. I don't know how this could be a problem. You know, it seems like pretty tame. I mean, it's not going to be something that we're going to be super excited for, but it's cool that, you know, somebody wants to get into PVM. They now have an option that's going to be a little bit more tough than KVD.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
They don't really talk about the loot or the mechanics, but and like I don't know. I never really did barrows to make money, so I don't know if you do like 300-400 kills, what the average would be for the average person. And I don't and then also like, are they like, do these people have the Mortania hards or elites or anything done like that?
Mm-hmm. Should be comparable in the fact that, like, someone who's doing barrows for money, like, if it's a good money maker for them, they're probably a low level, probably using, like, an Iban staff.
Well, it's geared for level 100s.
Yeah. Then when we get to, like, level, you know, like, you and I, we're probably going there with full graceful. We're bringing,
but if you're level tabs. 100, you're using, like, tridents and stuff. You're not going to be using Ibans at level 100.
Well, it depends on like how much money you actually have, I guess. But yeah, if you can afford it, you'll be using the trident and whatnot. But at level 100, you're probably not rocking full graceful and just doing speed runs, right?
Yeah, 100% you can.
Well, then then it'll be like I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the updates, though. Pretty light this week.
Yeah, pretty light. That's some fun stuff. Community chatter. I guess first things first. This week, we celebrate the anniversary of a special event. The Falador Massacre took place June 6th, 2006. Probably one of the most iconic events that's ever happened, eh?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Like, Jagex used to do a fun event every year to celebrate this. Mm-hmm. Or at least they did it for a year, and RuneScape 3 did as well. And then they just stopped, and I'm not really sure why. But I know 2 or 3 years ago, they had the event where they would have an NPC named Duriel who'd be walking around Falador, and he had like 1 billion HP. And he had his green party hat. And you had to go to this separate world. So it's like this, you're not playing on your main account, you're playing on your account, and it's like fully maxed out already. And it's all PvP zones, so you could fight each other or you could fight him. And it was pretty cool. Really hard to kill, but whoever killed it could wear the green party hat, and that's how you knew that they killed him, you know?
Yeah.
Did you ever do that event?
I was there, like I played around on it, but I didn't like really do much. Kind of like, oh, this is fun. All right, back to playing RuneScape.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun little thing. It wasn't anything crazy, and I wouldn't say people are missing it, but it was a nice gesture, I guess.
Yeah. And
it does seem that as like it seems for old school RuneScape, they're doing less and less of those. And they did have that poll on how much time they want. Do we want them to focus on it? But, you know, it's 2 years now. They haven't done an April Fool's event, right?
Yeah.
2 or 3 years since, the Falador Massacre event.
Well, didn't we vote on not doing those types of things?
Yeah, like I said, they had that poll where it's like, how much time should we spend on it? And it was kind of like, spend a minimal amount of time. And I guess they just decided, okay, scrap these type of things then, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because they were always... It was fun. It kind of... I don't know. It just felt like that they were more passionate about it because they were doing these little events that were only going to last a couple days.
Yeah.
And then just get completely wiped. Or even the April Fool's event. They were doing in-game events, and then they did like a dev blog. And then this year they did nothing, which was I was surprised about.
Yeah.
Because they always did something fun, but I don't know. Yeah, anyways, Falador Massacre, this dude bugged out the game basically and was able to PvP in a non-PvP area. I'd be surprised if nobody is aware of this, but you can go watch a video and whatnot.
Yeah, just Google Falador Massacre.
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
It's big. I guess I'll segue this to the other community chatter thing that I saw going, and might be able to tie it in. But a player mod ended up getting his status revoked because they called out Jagex on their support system. So they removed his PMod status because of that. So it's A bit controversial, I guess.
In
I don't know.
In my opinion, they blew this is way blown out of proportion.
By who?
The community.
Yeah. So you think it's like just to like lose a player mod status? Because this is what he had said. He just made a tweet saying, so there's a player who had been trying to contact the Jagex support team because his account was being hacked, and they basically just told him to like secure it with authenticators and whatnot, even though the guy was trying to say like, yo, lock my account. So then this PMod made a tweet saying, this guy has reached out to you guys and you basically showed him the middle finger. So that was the tweet that got him to lose it. There was an instance back in October where he was trolling. He was like kind of playfully trolling new players when mobile was released.
Okay.
And then that's when Jagex had first talked with him about it.
What's playfully trolling?
He was turning into, so it says here, he was turning into using the ring of coins to turn into a stack of coins and tricking players. I don't know if that means tricking them at like dark mages or something, or if he was just popping it at the GE.
Now, is he saying that's what he was doing?
Well, he had posted a picture, and then Jagex had told him like, yo, that's not cool. If you want to keep your PMod status, you have to remove the picture. So he removed it, and then they let him keep it. And this instance here is where he lost it.
So it honestly, he was probably trolling people at the Dark Wizards.
Possible.
You shouldn't be doing that as like a PMod.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume, because like, how would you get in trouble like if you're at the GE?
Yeah, that's what I'm
like. The only reason why it wouldn't be okay is if you're trying to get players killed or like griefing.
Yeah,
and you shouldn't do that as a player moderator, especially to people that are trying out the game for the first time and don't understand how death mechanics work and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
I used to like really before always be like, yeah, Jagex support system, like it does suck. It's not like the best, but everyone's so dishonest about how their accounts are like, oh my account was unhackable.
That's a big
and then
problem.
You always find out that like, oh no, actually you didn't have basic account security. I remember the Iron Man that made a big deal about getting hacked, and then you find out he didn't have a 2-step or a bank pin, and people found out because he did a screenshot of his bank and he didn't have max bank capacity.
Is that the dude who lost like bills?
Yeah.
So that's fun. He wasn't. I think I remember this one. It wasn't an Iron Man, and so this is where things get weird. It's not super black and white. But turned out he was one of the victims to Mod Jed.
Doesn't matter.
But like there are tons of dishonesty.
That's like, okay, yeah, you get hacked by Mod Jed. That still isn't like a player support issue. That's like someone going rogue.
Yeah.
Which doesn't matter. You can have the best, like if you have someone on the inside literally targeting your account, like that's on Jagex. I'm not going to defend that. But like, even like with my buddy that got hacked recently, he was telling me how he was using like an old Hotmail account, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, set up a separate Gmail. And I said this to him word for word, because I tell everyone to do this. Set your RuneScape password to a completely unique password that is not related to anything. You don't use this password anywhere else. It's a random special password. You should do that for everything, but people are lazy. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone uses 2 passwords.
Maybe they'll put a capital sometimes.
Yeah.
Add a 1 at the end of it.
And then, hey, don't use an email that's like 12 years old that's been leaked through 30 databases. And I remember telling him, 2-step the account, special email, only have ever used on your RuneScape account. Make a Gmail. Make sure that's 2-stepped, because your email has to be 2-stepped, and then have another separate password. Like I do, like, you know, I'll have some lazy stuff where like things that share passwords. One of them's like my email and RuneScape, and then like banking stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like important stuff. It's all like, well, important. Yeah. RuneScape and banking.
Hell yeah. I mean, your account's probably worth a couple $1,000, right?
No.
With all the money, if you real world trade it?
Oh, no.
Okay, well, whatever.
No.
Would have been more exciting if you just played along.
Oh, no. My account's definitely not worth that much.
Not 1,000, eh?
No.
Oh.
Especially the PVM, like,
Tebow, I thought they were going for like a couple hundred. Like 5, 6?
Maybe like $500. That's it's my bank.
Okay, fair enough. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like a bill now. It dropped a lot. I lost like 500 mil getting 99 fishing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like where all my money is, it's all dipped. And I tell him like, yeah, special unique passwords, don't share anything, have everything two-stepped. He ends up getting hacked, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, that's actually like, that makes no sense. And he's like, dude, I did everything you said. I'm like, okay, so tell me, what do you have? And he's like, I have a password in my account. I'm two-stepped. I have a two-step authenticator. And then I have my Gmail. I'm like, is Gmail two-stepped? No. Are you using unique passwords? Well, no, it's the same password for both of them. Okay. You use that password for like anything else? Yeah. Like, well, like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Then why'd you change your, like, that does nothing. Like, you're opening yourself up to like, dude, come on. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people like just do dumb stuff like that. And it's like,
I started using a password manager. It can be a pain in the ass, especially if you're playing mobile. But if you're just playing on the computer, it's pretty great. It's just this like program. I keep it on a USB stick. It basically like encrypts all your passwords. So like they're super complicated. They're like 30, characters long, capitals, lowercase. And it just, you press one button and it'll throw it all in there for you. So you could use that. The only problem is, like I said, if you're on mobile, you gotta like pull it up, look at it manually, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass to enter.
Yeah.
A few times I have to do that. Pain in the ass. But it, super safe. The one I use is called KeyPass 2. Yeah, KeyPass 2.
But yeah, anyways, moving on from that though, like Jagex just released a poll blog on how they're fixing their support.
Yeah.
So like what's the point of like bitching? Like, it's so stupid. Like I feel like this guy was like doing some dumb stuff, was about to be demodded anyways, and was like, I'm gonna just get some Twitter followers out of this.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And
like
everyone's eating it up. It's like, man, they literally said they just released a poll blog, or not poll blog, like a support like a transparency blog. Like they're like, this is what we're doing to improve our support system, and this is how we're gonna do this and that. And then it's like a week later, like, you guys suck. It's like, oh yeah, we kind of just acknowledged that, and they kind of just explained how we're gonna fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, like,
it's a large process, and they straight up said like, hey, we're basically on Windows 98.
Yeah,
of customer service, whereas everyone else is on like Windows 10.
Yeah, it just comes off as like the community and that guy just being really immature and like just wanting to bitch and moan about something.
Yeah, it's
ironically coming from me. Keep that in mind.
That's saying something.
Yeah,
then, right? But it did just have me thinking that like Mod Matt K recently left the team. Mod Aiza left the team. And those are just like the two right off the top of my head. And I don't doubt that those two truly cared about the game. And I think the whole team truly cares about the game as well. But I do think there's only a handful that are like really keeping everything together. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Like I feel like you lose Mod Ash, you lose Mod Kieran, you lose, I don't know, Mod Ed. He's another one that comes to mind that like I feel like genuinely cares about it. Like I said, I think everyone does care about it, but you lose the people who care about it like for what it is and like their vision of the game. You lose a couple people. I feel like it could easily change the direction the game is going.
Yeah, well, I think every JMod, like they don't make, like they could be making way better money.
Yeah.
If they're not working on old school, like they're taking a hit, and I think everyone that like works at old school is like pretty passionate about it.
But do you get the feel that like you could lose a couple people and then it wouldn't take much more to change the direction of the game, even though they all care about the game?
Well, the direction is based on the community. That's the thing.
A bit of the community, but like it's kind of like the JMods open the door and then we choose whether or not we go through it.
Yeah.
It's just something I was thinking about, especially with the whole Falador Massacre and getting no event there. I'm starting to like.
But that was like from the community.
Yeah.
So like, what if the community is like changed, and
But, like-
J mods are now like
But why would the old school team even pull that to begin with? Right?
because the community freaked out about like the pace and what content they were delivering at the time, and they were like, okay, let's assess this, and that's when they did the whole team restructure, like how they like structure, like their updates, and then they asked like, how do you want us to focus? Like a lot of it is like, I feel like the community is just kind of wearing out people, and then at one like if I'm Mod Mad K, I got kids and a wife,
Other hobbies.
but like he was with RuneScape for like 14 years, right?
Yeah.
And then at what point is it like, what if he just was able to get a way better job? Like imagine like you want to provide for your family as best as you can, and then you're like doing all this for like your passion and for the community, and then you're kind of realizing that like, this isn't giving me the value that it used to.
Yeah.
And maybe other J mods are like kind of like getting that.
Could be. That's why Mod Aiza left, right?
Well, he's commuting like 3 hours, Airbnbs, and it's like at what point it's like you have to like consider those people like they have lives outside of the community and like dreams, aspirations, like just like personal goals and stuff that like that they've probably put on hold for like a game.
Yeah. Especially if they're not making the money they could be making somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's the big one. And you hear all the time, if you're a developer for the game, it's kind of career suicide because now you have to learn this coding language that no one's using.
Yeah.
RuneScript or something like that. Like no one outside of RuneScape uses that. I don't even think you could go over to the RuneScape 3 team. You'd probably have to learn a variation of that.
Yeah.
RuneScript 3. I don't know, it's just something I was thinking about, and it's not that the turnover is more apparent. It's just that there's a bigger team, or I should say, since there is a bigger team, you're seeing more people like leave and come out and join, and that's just what's going to happen going forward. But something to think about, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But besides that, that's all I saw going on with the community this week.
Yep.
And normally, this is the segment where we go and teleport back in time to 2001, where we discuss what happened this week during that year. Fortunately, nothing happened, but there will be some news next week on that one. Again, about the lore, we're going to be putting that one on hold. You can probably tell right now it sounds like there's like a hurricane going on behind us. Mike's getting a little screwy. I got to figure out what's going on there and get it all fixed up for next episode. So we'll come back and revisit all that next week, which means we're going to take a stroll over to that Grand Exchange and tell you about what's going on in the show. So first things first, you can get a free month and a free audiobook if you go to audibletrial.com/wild. Deegan's on that Harry Potter grind.
Yep.
What book you on?
Goblet of Fire still.
Nice. And there's what, 2 more after that?
Just
totally guessing.
Geez, am I on the 4th book? I am.
Goblet Fire, that's
wait.
It
Philosopher's
goes Stone. The one with the car.
Philosopher's Stone.
Chamber of
Secrets. Prisoner of Azkaban.
No, that's not the third one. That's the third one's with the snake.
No, it's the second one. Spoilers. And then it goes Goblet of Fire. And then I forgot the next
Phoenix one.
I don't know. And then
let's look it up.
Deathly Hallows stuff, right?
I saw that there's some play or something like that.
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Oh, yeah, you're right. Goblet of Fire, the Order of Phoenix, the Half-Blood Prince, and then the Deathly Hallows.
Yeah. So, yeah, been ripping through that. I think this week I'm going to like be able to smash a bunch of it out, so I'm kind of excited.
Nice.
But I'm also like been getting into like all the fishing stuff on like YouTube and like looking around. Because super excited to go rip down to like Niagara Falls or something and go fishing. It's gonna be
right
sick.
off the falls.
Honestly, like we're going like above the falls to go fishing.
Yeah.
Apparently there's some dope spots there. Get some bass, get some trout. It's gonna be sick.
The salmon that swim upstream.
Yeah.
They jump the river. You just see it jumping up the falls.
Bears snatching them. Tourists trying to snatch them.
Oh boy. But yeah, audibletrial.com/wild. Get some of your bucks going. You can also support the show directly by going to patreon.com/thewildernesspodcast. Our supporter of the week is Brian Latwis. Probably pronounced that last name wrong. Anyways, I apologize. But thank you very much for supporting us. We greatly appreciate it. yeah, you guys allow us to continue doing the show. And, if this mic's broken, I might be able to afford to fix it without breaking the bank. Without having to make some dire financial decisions.
Without selling off body parts.
Yeah.
And I got real old trade band.
God damn. Yeah, thank you very much for supporting the show. We do greatly appreciate it. And yeah, now we're going to talk about what kind of events we got going on, because we have one right now, and this is going to be your final week to get it in. But we have our skill competition. If you don't know what that is, well, it is not your typical skill competition. It's not anything to do with in-game stuff. We asked you guys to design a skill and email us at the address thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com and really flesh out your skill idea, something that might actually fit into old school RuneScape, and then send us the email, and we're going to go through it. And then next week, we're going to pick 3 winners, and each one is going to be getting at least 10 mil. So yeah, you have your week, so take your time, send it, but, try to have it done to be safe, have it done by June 16th, I'd say. Because sometimes we record Sunday, but sometimes Monday, the odd time Tuesday, depending on how busy we get. But yeah, if you have it done for Sunday, you should be pretty safe. We've been getting a ton of suggestions right now, and I haven't had a chance I have had a chance to look at them, but I don't want to fully read them until I get them all in, so I can do it all at once. Depending on how much information you guys have sent to us, we might end up doing a bonus episode where we go into detail about every single skill. We don't want to spend like 2 hours doing that on the regular show, but so this way, if it is going to be a longer, discussion of those skills, we can have our own separate episode. But the winners will still be announced on the regular episode. Not sure if we're going to do the bonus. Like I said, it depends on how much information is actually within each skill. We may be able to discuss all of it within like 40 minutes or so. Might work out. We're going to play it by ear, though. Yeah, send it to the email address, which we're going to give you, as well as all our other contact information. First things first, though, if you want to hang out with us in-game, in our clan chat, it is WildCC. Our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Our Facebook is facebook.com/thewildernesspodcast. And our Twitter is @thewildernessrs. If you want to join our Discord, we have a link on both Twitter and Facebook. Deegan, you got some stuff?
Twitch, Twitter, DNRS.
That is right. If you want to check out my Twitch, it's The Dills. Haven't had a chance to do too much streaming, but I do plan on doing those Rune Radio episodes and getting a nice schedule down pretty soon. We're going to have the girlfriend all moved in this week, so this will give me time to actually set out a schedule. It's most likely going to be happening during the week in the evening, because I work until 4:30, and I start work at 8:30. Don't think I'll be doing it beforehand, so keep an eye out for that. And our song of the week, when we got that Falador Massacre event on, it says here, June 2016, they came out with their own music track for that world, for that event. So we're going to play that. I mean, if it doesn't work, we're going to play something random. But hopefully everything goes as planned. So the song of the week is going to be Massacre. And it was composed by Adam Bond. And
the inventor of the old school Bond. We've made that joke before. I'll make it again.
Brother of James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting family. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Tune in next week to episode 137, and we will be talking some skills, that's for sure.
Hold on, wait. One has a license to kill, and one has a license to shill.
Nice.
All right. How to get that one out there?
Is there a third Bond? I'm sure there is.
Probably.
We'll find him. All right, guys. Till next week. Keep your eyes out for the third Bond brother.
Yeah, have a good one.
Bye-bye.